What if the biggest scandal of this WNBA season never actually happened? For 9 frantic days, social feeds seethed with claims that Indiana Fever fans had hurled racist slurs at Chicago's Angel Reese, until league investigators sifted every camera angle, crowd mic and security log in Gainbridge Fieldhouse and came up empty. No audio, no witnesses, not even a muffled syllable. In a league still fighting for every new eyeball, an outrage machine had built a bonfire on thin air, and it almost burned the whole opening month to ash. Tonight we trace the spark that lit the rumor, the moment the truth snapped back, and why its fallout now hangs over Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and the future of women's hoops. The flashpoint crowd noise rattled off Gainbridge Fieldhouse walls on May 17, 2025, as the season-opening showdown between the Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky hit a boiling point. Late in the third, rookie phenom Caitlin Clark slid to halt a Sky fast break, and Angel Reese crashed across the hardwood, flagged for a flagrant glare and swagger in full display. Cameras caught the stare down. TikTok caught fire. Within hours, anonymous X threads and clips claimed Fever fans had spewed racist slurs at Reese. There was no clear audio, just captions scrawled over shaky phone footage, yet the posts traveled faster than any box score update. Months earlier, Reese had blasted Clark supporters as hostile, so the timeline needed no invitation. By sunrise, Hamburg boycott fever trended, blue-check commentators branded the arena ground zero for hate, and ESPN segments rolled ominous chyrons while looping raw highlights. Inside Gainbridge, though, reality felt boringly normal. Courtside reporters heard cheers, jeers, nothing extraordinary. Ushers swapped game balls, kids chased autographs, and neither bench registered a complaint. The frenzy galloped so far ahead of the facts that the very people on the floor barely recognized the story social media was telling about the game they'd just played. Outrage loves empty spaces, and the gap between a recycled clip and verified truth is exactly where this scandal drew its first breath. Next, we'll track how that breath ballooned into a 5-alarm crisis the WNBA could no longer ignore. Rumor wildfire. The game ended, but online it was only halftime. A single shaky courtside clip, no slurs audible, just Angel Reese walking back to the bench, hit X at midnight. Someone overlaid the caption, "Did you hear that?" and tagged it #ProtectReese. Engagement exploded. By 2 a.m., the algorithm had stitched reaction duets, subtweets, and sped up replays into a viral tapestry darker than any highlight reel. Blue-check pundits typed unacceptable before watching the clip twice. Fan pages screen-recorded those takes and reposted them for clout. What started as one caption snowballed into a digital game of telephone. Every share added a new first-hand detail. Racial slurs, threats, even phantom security escorts that never happened. Hashtags split the timeline into camps. Hashtag boycott fever trended alongside hashtag stand with Angel, each side firing off screenshotted evidence that traced back to the same silent video. Influencers chasing engagement looked for the nastiest angle, because outrage keeps viewers scrolling. Even traditional outlets felt the pull. Morning sports shows booked emergency panels, rolling B-roll of Reese's flagrant, while asking how the league would address hate. Few paused to ask whether hate had actually occurred. Meanwhile, real eyewitnesses, beat writers, arena ushers, season ticket holders, posted calmer accounts that sank beneath the noise. By dawn, the narrative was cemented. Gainbridge Fieldhouse had been the scene of overt racism. Brands issued boilerplate condemnations, and Angel Reese's mentions lit up with sympathy and vitriol in equal measure. The internet had written its storyline. All the league could do was scramble to fact-check it before the next news cycle swallowed everything whole. The morning after the tweet storm, the WNBA tried to outrun it. On May 18th, the league fired off a release condemning hate and discrimination and promising a full probe into what supposedly happened at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Fever staff were told to hand over every camera angle, security log, and parabolic mic file. They complied within hours. For a week, the league's review room ran like a crime lab. Tech slowed crowd audio to single frames, synced phone clips with arena feeds, and interviewed ushers, courtside fans, and TV crews. They even mapped seat numbers to the alleged moment, hoping lip readers could spot a culprit. All that manpower for a league still chasing its first profit showed how volatile the accusation looked to sponsors. Yet every file came back clean. Crowd mics captured nothing worse than routine booing. No witness heard a hateful word. By May 27th, the WNBA could only say what the data showed. The allegations were not substantiated, but the most telling crack appeared sooner, when Sky interim coach Tyler Marsh faced reporters and asked when he'd first heard of hate speech, shrugged when everyone else did. If the man 10 feet from Reese missed it, what had the internet been amplifying? Next, we'll trace how that answer popped the balloon, and who scrambled to patch it before the verdict dropped.
Silence on the sidelines. Nothing shatters a rumor faster than the people closest to the action saying, "Wait, what?" That moment landed 2 days into the probe, when Chicago's interim coach Tyler Marsh faced reporters. Asked when he first learned of the alleged hate speech, he blinked and replied, "When everyone else did." Marsh had been 10 feet from Angel Reese all night, diagramming plays, yet he'd heard no slur, no heckle worth noting. His admission sent a ripple through press row. Courtside beat writers compared notes. None had flagged racist remarks in their game stories, and league-supplied crowd mics captured only the standard cocktail of cheers, boos, and sneaker squeaks. Even broadcasters, replaying the flagrant foul could isolate. Nothing foul-mouthed in the stands. The supposed Supposed villains, Section 15, Row D, were a family of 4 who told investigators they spent the third quarter buying Dippin' Dots. With every silent tape and shrugging witness, the investigation felt less like detective work and more like ghost hunting. Yet the internet roar kept drowning out the on-site hush. Outrage doesn't need microphones. Still, Marsh's 4 casual words, when everyone else did, pierced the echo chamber, hinting that the scandal's loudest moment might have been louder online than in the arena itself. Next came the league's official verdict, and the narrative's spectacular collapse. Findings drop, narrative flops. 9 days after hashtags drowned out highlights, the league snapped the rumor in half. On May 27th, the WNBA released a 1-paragraph verdict after combing every parabolic mic track, security reel, and courtside interview. Investigators did not substantiate a single racist remark at the Fever Sky opener. No audio, no eyewitness. Case closed. The statement should have ended the story, yet its blunt clarity exposed just how far the online tale had outrun reality. Moments later, Chicago issued a carefully lawyered note thanking the league for swift action, but critics blasted the Sky for skipping an outright apology to Fever, fans who'd been smeared for a week. Fallout ricocheted through sports media studios. ESPN analyst Chini Ogwumike, who had amplified the allegations on air, posted a mea culpa video. "If you know me, you know I'm not afraid to say I can do better." She praised the league's diligence and vowed to grow with the game, a public backpedal that doubled as a cautionary scroll stop for every pundit chasing engagement. Meanwhile, Fever season ticket holders, new fans, the league has fought to win, wondered why their cheers had been recast as jeers. Sponsors quietly asked how much an investigation like this costs a league still chasing profitability. And Angel Reese, once framed as the target of bigotry, now faced awkward questions about how a phantom slur became a trending truth. The internet's loudest scandal had just evaporated on paper, but the smoke it left behind would hang over every storyline still to come. Fallout and face-saving. The league's no evidence verdict didn't just puncture a rumor, it punctured reputations. First in the blast zone was Angel Reese herself. Indiana State Senator Spencer Fisher fired the opening volley, urging the Sky Forward to apologize to every Fever fan whose name was dragged through the mud. Local talk radio hosts echoed him, framing Reese not as a victim, but as the accelerant that set the internet ablaze. National media figures scrambled next. ESPN analyst Chini Ogwumike, who had amplified the allegations on air, recorded a 2-minute mea culpa. "I can do better. I'm sorry my words, in the heat of the moment, hurt fans who did nothing wrong." Her apology looped across socials, a stark contrast to the confident condemnations she delivered a week earlier. The clip became cautionary content for every blue-check chasing engagement. Yet not everyone backpedaled. Reese's staunchest supporters doubled down, claiming the investigation was inconclusive rather than exonerating, while dunking on Fever fans in the same breath. The irony was lost on few. The camp that decried toxic fandom now fanned fresh hostility with zero factual footing. Sponsors watched the whiplash nervously. A league still courting corporate dollars had just spent 9 days spotlighting a scandal that never existed, forcing brands to weigh the cost of association against unprecedented audience growth. Inside locker rooms, veterans muttered that they were tired of drama eclipsing hoops. Rookie Caitlin Clark summed it up privately to teammates. "If we let noise set the agenda, nobody hears the game." The rumor was dead, but its ghost lingered, haunting reputations, straining trust, and reminding women's basketball how fragile its new spotlight can be. The cost of viral fiction women's hoops is having its richest moment ever. Sponsorship deals jumped 19% year over year, attendance is at a 22-season high, and ESPN ratings soared 170% in 2024 alone. Corporate planners who once ignored the league now fight for courtside signage, and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert hails 2025 as the breakout season that could vault annual revenue toward the billion-dollar mark. That momentum runs on trust. Fans buying tickets, brands buying goodwill. 9 days of rumor grinding through the headlines just showed how fragile that trust is. Fever loyalists who arrived early, cheered hard, and went home thinking nothing unusual happened woke up labeled bigots by people who were never in the building. Some vowed online they'd spend Saturdays at minor league baseball instead. Sponsors called League HQ asking for clarity. A few quietly paused activation budgets until the smoke cleared. Players felt the dent too. Veterans grumbled that every interview was about Twitter noise, not box scores. Rising stars like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, whose highlight reels are driving the very surge in viewership, had to field questions about a scandal that never existed. Each minute spent rebutting fiction was a minute the league's hottest talent wasn't selling the sport's reality. The lesson is blunt. Viral myths can siphon dollars and goodwill faster than any losing streak. Women's basketball finally has spotlight money can't buy. It can't afford to watch that light flicker every time social media points at a shadow. Lessons etched in the hardwood. The league will remember this spring as the moment rumor outran reason and almost stole the spotlight from the best basketball many of these athletes have ever played. A single caption and a shaky clip nearly reordered public perception, proving that in 2025 the court no longer ends at the baseline. It stretches through every phone in every hand. For Angel Reese, the takeaway is clear. Credibility is easier to spend than to earn back. For Caitlin Clark and the Fever fan base, base, the bruises are reputational, not physical. Yet invisible scrapes can still hurt a growing game. And for the rest of us, the episode offers a choice. We can feed the algorithm first and ask questions later, or we can insist on evidence before we light the next digital bonfire. The WNBA won't erase these 9 chaotic days, but it can leverage them. Stronger media literacy campaigns, clearer real-time communication, and a pledge to verify before amplifying can fortify the fragile trust that corporate partners and first-time ticket buyers just started extending. A sport angling for billion-dollar status cannot afford echo chamber sinkholes that swallow its own momentum, so the next time a clip storms your feed, pause, listen twice, check the source. Your curiosity keeps the game honest, and your skepticism keeps it healthy. If you stand with facts, with hoops, and with energy that lifts the sport instead of tearing it down, stick with us. More truth-seeking. Stories, and a whole lot of highlight reel magic are just one click away. Click the video on screen to get the next hot story.